Hi, good evening, ma'am.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening. I just wanted to check the presentation. If you can allow me to share the screen,
Okay.
make me the host. So I'll just,
It can be done actually.
yeah. So should I share the screen? I just wanted to check that PPT, whether it's coming on or not.
Yeah. We'll check it, sir. Yeah, we'll check it. We'll check it, sir, please. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you have to make me a co-host or something.
Yeah, I'll make you a co-host, sir. 2 minutes. Yeah. 2 minutes, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Sir, can we please check it, sir?
Am I audible?
Now only it's clear, sir.
Okay, so through my earphones, it is not audible. I'll use the direct mic. 1 minute.
Oh, it's okay. You can share the screen, sir.
Share screen. Yeah. Is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
Is it visible in full screen now?
Yeah, it's clear.
So should we retain it like that? Because later on, what happens many times we are not able to. Can you see me also?
Yeah, I can see you, both you and the screen, sir. It's very much clear.
Okay. So fine. I'll just stop the share.
Puneet sir, good evening.
Good evening. So I was just asking you, how was it in Bangalore?
Bangalore, good sir, going good.
Good. Okay, great.
So since you have joined, I thought I should listen to you.
Thank you so much.
Madam, good evening, ma'am. I think she's not able to hear.
So where do you stay? Are you in the main campus or which campus are you?
I'm in the Bannerghatta Road campus.
Okay. So you stay somewhere close by?
I stay close by to the campus.
You moved your family there or?
No, sir. My daughter is having her school.
I know. That is always a issue.
Yes.
So what do you do once in a fortnight or something like?
No, I come every Saturday. Saturday, we work till 1 p.m. I take a bus around 2:30 and I reach Coimbatore by 9:30. Sunday night I come.
Sunday night. Okay.
Till otherwise I have work, I stay here, or else every weekend I come.
Achha. And you must be having, obviously now everything must be offline classes, physical classroom.
Yes, it's all our physical classes.
It's got Christ University's got wonderful infrastructure.
Yes, absolutely world class.
World class. My son did his law from there, BBLLB, 3 years back. I was really impressed with the infrastructure they have, the discipline, mainly discipline.
Discipline, and they give a holistic view. It's not only about academics.
Yeah. Extracurricular activities are fantastic.
It goes a lot. Every other day you have one event.
Correct. No, I was mighty impressed because, if you look at the quality of the cultural programs also, each campus,
yes,
it is world class. I mean, it is really like some movie production.
Absolutely. Even if you come and visit the auditoriums, it's like your theaters which are there in big malls.
Yes.
That way, the students are blessed here to
Yes, yes,
value money. What they spend, what they get out is wonderful.
absolutely. And they are very rigorous. That's what my son used to always fib about.
Always
They
on.
will not. You cannot bunk classes. Absolutely not.
Absolutely, because attendance is a must.
Ah,
We make
they will detain. No mercy shown there actually.
shown there. Absolutely. 85%, 95%, no mercy shown.
No
Until
mercy.
valid reasons. People even can't do with all these fines also. That is a
Yes,
benchmark.
yes, yes. And library is also fantastic.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, all in all, very good. I think one of the few universities which have a very strict code of dress code, right, for students.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
No jeans, no t-shirts.
Jeans, no t-shirts. Absolutely. What you said is right. Not allowed here.
Not allowed.
Even on a casual day, they're not allowed.
They're not allowed. No, it was truly. I mean, of course, students don't appreciate it as much. Later on, they will appreciate.
When the class hours are over, it's up to them. They're free. But in campus, we strictly and they realize, as you said, no, once they get into their outside world, they know the importance of all.
They're already used to a dress code, dress sense, so they don't find it difficult to adjust. Absolutely. Of course, MBA students here, most of them I see they have a strict dress sense. I'm talking about the other courses, the normal BCom, BSc, where
we will have this problem. So how you spend time, sir?
Like this only, getting a little bit involved in the CMA, events, then a couple of guest lectures here, there, some institutes, some Firebird, Johnson's.
I saw recently you have done some.
That was just mock interviews we did. So, how basically, and give feedback for every student, what could be improved, things like that.
That's a good exercise actually. They will tend to know, when veterans like you come and talk to them, they'll really understand the pain points.
From the perspective, we have conducted so many interviews for recruitment over the years. So how an industry person looks at MBA student, what is he or she looking for? What is the company or the function head looking for?
Yes.
Basically, that perspective.
Correct.
We shared what do we assess in that 15-20 minutes of an interview.
Correct.
Like personally, when I used to interview a lot, I would look at some 2 or 3 things only. And whether those things are visible in those 15-20 minutes, fine. So like there'll be a functional head, there'll be an HR person. And then these 2 people probably would do the first selections. How we look at CVs, how a CV is written, crafted.
Correct.
And essentially, I would look at what have you done during your summer internship? What key learnings have you?
Students think that is a ritual to put it, but they should understand why it is actually mentioned.
And especially for freshers who don't have any work experience, then the only indication, see, we are not too concerned about their academics. That's all history.
Correct.
You have to have decent academics, obviously, then only you're getting into a good MBA institute. But even, whether if you have previous work experience, then we'll quiz them on the previous work experience.
Correct.
Otherwise, primarily to see how that student has done and what he or she has done during the summer internship.
True. That adds a lot of value for them, the resume.
Yes. Group discussions, those kind of things.
Correct. True. When I was in my industry days, I did few of such things in few institutes, like DJIM. They really, the reception is very good from the students actually.
Yes.
They really understand what it is. In fact, yesterday we had the first phase of MBA interviews conducted in our campus.
Okay.
We had some close to 300 plus students who came, and we underwent this process of written exam, then a GD, then a micro presentation, then a personal interview.
For the new batch you saying?
New batch, yeah, for this coming batch. We conduct 2 sessions. One happens now, another one will happen in April.
April, correct.
Shortlisting.
Good evening, sir. Dr. Nandagopal.
Good evening. How are you?
All well, sir. Whenever I see you, you're always on the move, sir.
Yeah.
Nandagopal, sir. Good evening, sir. Sriraman.
I could see Sriraman. How are you? You are in Christ, sir.
I'm good, sir. Doing good, sir. With all your blessings.
Just now I spoke to Sumati, was speaking to me.
Yeah. We are the same campus.
She mentioned that you are joined. Okay. Yes. Good. Nice to see that you are in Christ now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. With all your blessings. Thank you so much.
All the best.
Thank you so much.
Today I joined a meeting because today is a special occasion. I think CMA is celebrating 500th meeting.
Yes.
So I was asked by Krishna Kumar to join.
Okay.
And give a message about the special program of this program today.
Very nice, sir.
Okay.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
How are you? Good evening.
Good evening. How are you, sir?
Fine. How are you, ma?
I'm good. Thank you, sir.
Anna, good evening. Doctor, good evening. Nitin joining.
Nitin, good evening.
Sir.
Good evening.
Very good evening. Very good.
Yeah. Nitin, congratulations.
Speaker is already there, na?
Congratulations for 500th meeting today.
Thank you, na. Thank you so much. Na. All good things what you have started. Now we are just following up, na.
Yeah. Good. Nice to hear that, sir.
Ms. Puneet is there, na? Online. Puneet?
Yes, sir.
Puneet ji, thanks for accepting for this coveted occasion.
It's an honor, sir. It's an honor. 500th Monday Musing. It's a record by any stretch of imagination.
So we'll take the treat separately, sir.
Sure.
Thank you. Dr. Vandana, all well?
All well, sir. All well. Hello, Puneet.
I saw Professor Nandi also on the...
Sir, good evening, Nitin, sir. How are you? Long time.
Good evening, Professor Nandi. How is Bangalore?
Bangalore is doing good, sir. Very well.
Good, sir.
So you are now a Bangalorean now, Professor Nandi?
Now Bangalorean.
Bangalorean.
Weekdays Bangalorean.
Oh, weekends you come back?
I come back. My family is still there. My daughter is in school. I just can't shift now. So I come weekends only.
Nice. So Puneet, sir, you want to see whether you're using PPT or...
Yeah. We just did a check. I can probably do one.
Yeah. I didn't see. Yeah. That's okay.
Just 1 minute, because visible.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I'll stop it now.
Miss Vadivu. Miss Vadivu.
Yes, sir.
Has the significance of today's occasion been adequately conveyed to the participants, or it's only within the MC?
Exactly, sir.
No. What I'm saying is this 500.
Nitin, the poster only says 500th program.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
what
conveyed,
was
sir.
circulated? What was circulated? It is mentioned clearly 500th program.
Okay.
Yeah. So people may be aware.
Okay.
I think Vandana,
exactly,
now
sir.
time. Can we start by 6:30?
So it's exactly 6:30, sir. We can start the meeting, sir.
Yeah. Vandana can.
Yes. The number of participants are adequate, I think. So
it's around 31.
Okay, I think they'll slowly join, but we can start, right?
We can start.
We can start. Okay. Being the 500th, we don't want to delay. Okay. Good evening, everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to the 500th Monday Musings of Coimbatore Management Association. And it is indeed a great achievement because, every Monday without fail, we organize this. And except, I think, few holidays or public holidays, we have been doing that. And every time we get very good speakers, excellent speakers, expertise in their field. And every time we see the number of participants also is above 100 nowadays. Touches maybe 100 is just an average that I tell you, but 100, 150, 200 and all. So it is a pleasure to have Mr. Puneet Krishnan with us today to deliver the 500th session of Monday Musings. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Dr. Nitin, you're saying Dr. Nandagopal would address us about Monday Musings first? Is it?
Yes, sir. Significance of CMA to some extent and Monday Musings and contribution to the knowledge development in the city, sir.
Okay. So I request Professor Nandagopal to say a few words, and then I will take the pleasure of introducing Mr. Puneet to everyone formally.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vandana, Speaker of the Day, Sunit, Vinit, and Nitin, and other office bearers of the Coimbatore Management Association. Good evening to all of you. Almost 13, 14 years back, we started this initiation of Monday Musings. Of course, it started within our own building, and we used to have around 50 to 60 people regularly. And at that particular time, Dr. DVD Rao was the president, and I was the honorary secretary of the Coimbatore Management Association. We thought that we should initiate certain activities to reach the management students and also practicing manager. That's how the whole concept of this Monday Music started. And we found it was very encouraging, and we moved to a very bigger hall, and which accommodated around 200 people. And we continued like that. And after the pandemic, now we moved to online. I congratulate the present president, Mr. Varadaraj, Nitin, Vice President, and Secretary Ravindran, all of them, for the successful conduct of this program. Now I think it is going very well, and we have a very good speakers. Every week, people are looking forward to hear this program. Once again, congratulations to all of you. Let me hand it over to Vandana.
Ma'am, you're on mute. Vandana, madam, you're on mute.
Yes, I saw. Thank you, sir. Thank you for that lovely introduction. It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Puneet Krishnan to you all. Mr. Puneet is a BSc and MMS, and he's in sales, marketing, and operations professional with 36 years of experience across diverse sectors such as FMCG, consumer durables, hospitality, agriculture, and telecommunications. He has worked for Vodafone Idea, Sterling Holiday Resorts, Aditya Birla Group, Idea Cellular, that is, then Tata Group and RPG Groups. Mr. Puneet has handled business transformation at Idea Cellular in his tenure and has recruited, trained, and mentored several management graduates. He's based out of Coimbatore, post-retirement, and is busy sharing his knowledge and experience across industries and MSMEs and new entrants. His achievements include 10 plus years as business and SBU head. He was the cluster business head with Vodafone Idea Maharashtra and Goa. And he has recruited and mentored several MBAs over the years. Mr. Puneet will be speaking on sales and distribution models in telecom versus FMCG. And we welcome you, sir. And over to you.
Thank you. So I'll just share my screen first. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay. So, first and foremost, thank you so much for this opportunity to participate in the 500th episode of Monday Musings. It's a record by any standards anywhere in the world, I would say. To continue with such a program over such a long period of time requires a lot of commitment and dedication. on the part of CMA, both past and present. I had a couple of topics in my mind, but knowing the profile of most of our audience, which would be MBA students, and my guess is that at least 70 or 80% of them would be opting for a career in specialization in marketing related fields. I thought maybe this particular topic, and where I have personal experience, probably could be of some use. It's just an overview because this topic is very, very deep by itself and cannot be dealt with in such a short period of time. I just thought I could convey some salient features of how sales and distribution works in telecom versus FMCG. And why sales and distribution, I said, is that another reason is that as they say, the way to a man's heart is through the stomach. So the way to the corner office in any consumer-facing industry or sector or organization is always through sales and distribution. I mean, make no mistake about it. Those aspiring to lead organizations in the consumer sector or even be an entrepreneur. And an entrepreneur, you have to be in sales and distribution right from day one. You have to sell your organization, sell your concept, sell it to investors. So S&D, sales and distribution, basically is something which many organizations correctly recognize as the bread and butter of any consumer-facing business, and is something which is capable of giving a competitive edge to that organization. So I'm moving my slide. It is just one moment, please. Yeah. So basically, a very broad overview, key differences between telecom and FMCG. How I will take this presentation is in the following manner. Evolution of sales and distribution in telecom, policies and products over the years, postpaid and prepaid sales and distribution models very briefly. What were the challenges in the telecom industry, sales and distribution, and the key difference in roles of a salesperson in telecom versus FMCG. Start with, it's a widely held belief that FMCG companies like Unilever, ITC, Pepsi, Coke, and of course you have a lot of regional companies, Cavan Care. I mean, you name it now. In every region there is a consumer company. They have the widest and deepest distribution network. That is the widely held belief. Telecom products were launched in 1997-98, and it was initially, of course, a luxury product. Only the rich and famous and the most influential could own that product. And it was only available as a post-paid product. There would be a billing and then you pay. So obviously, the credit worthiness of the customers was of prime concern to the telecom company. So it was sold as an exclusive luxury product, if I remember. Although I joined the telecom industry only in 2003. But I remember my boss and CEO in Sterling Resorts, where I was working at that time, were one of the few people in the entire city of Chennai to be having a cell phone. At that time, if students may not know, and many of you may not know, there was an incoming call also which used to get charged at 30 rupees per minute. And there was no STD and no roaming. So it was a very, very localized, almost like a walkie-talkie, very limited range. There was no SMS at that point of time, no concept of messaging, just call. However, over the years, the policies of the government, the telecom policy and all changed, and therefore that brought about development in the products in telecom. The turning point came in 2001 with the new telecom policy, where the calling party pays policy was brought into the picture. Now, what that means is that there would be no charge for incoming calls. Only outgoing calls will be charged. So incoming calls became free. And suddenly, a whole new market for telecom opened up, became more affordable. And of course, there was technology to back it up because these companies had a charging system. By that time, a charging system had been developed. So as a result of that, the telecom companies launched prepaid products as we know now, and the market exploded from 2001, 2002 onwards. What that did was that primarily till then, the telecom companies only had a direct sales model, direct selling to influential people, rich businessmen, celebrities, selling their. And selling was very easy because it was a demand product at that point of time. Everybody wanted to have a cell phone, and you actually had a waiting list. But with prepaid product, it required a different skill set altogether in terms of sales and distribution. And the reason why I was recruited into Idea Silver at that point of time was because I had FMCG distribution experience. And therefore, a huge number of people from FMCG got jobs in telecom way back in 2001, 2002, 2003, because they needed the sales and distribution expertise or experience of FMCG. They thought that is the closest in terms of a distribution model that would suit telecom. And then came another phase where some new licenses were issued in 2008. And suddenly there were 6 to 8 operators and even 10 operators in every circle, every state. And that became intensely competitive market. So moving to S&T models, of course, briefly postpaid to the direct sales, company teams, walk-in sales and company stores. So companies used to have their own stores. That time you would have company like Aircel and Skycell in Tamil Nadu. Then came in the brands like Airtel, Idea, Orange before Vodafone. Then it became Hutch. You had BPL. Many of these companies are not existing anymore. So they had their own showrooms where anybody wanting to buy a postpaid connection could go and buy a postpaid connection. And the direct sales teams mainly would go and approach businessmen and companies to sell postpaid connections in bulk. So basic method of selling was lead generation, cold calling, telecalling, database sourcing. Very much like people used to sell any consumer durables, like, if you remember, vacuum cleaners and water filters. So a great deal of these salespeople were recruited from Eureka Forbes because they are considered to be extremely aggressive in terms of direct selling or timeshare industry, because these were all time sharing, direct selling industries. So we got people from there. Participating exhibition, generating leads and addresses basically to follow upon. And corporate and SME outreach. So postpaid used to be sold like this and still is sold like that. Then, of course, to increase that width and reach, companies started appointing franchisees. So each franchisee had a small store, and then the franchisee also had his or her own team of salespeople, and certain areas or certain market sectors were allocated to these franchisees, saying you go and pitch in this particular industrial area. But basically direct sales. So postpaid is all about direct sales, and even today it is about direct sales. Like as they call it, enterprise business units of all the companies are basically direct sales units. For prepaid, of course, that is where the sea change came in for telecom companies. Initially, nobody had a clue as to how to go about selling prepaid. So all the companies at that time thought that the best model to copy would be the FMCG model. So everybody, a lot of people from FMCG industry were recruited to set up sales and distribution for various telecom companies. So typical FMCG model, you map territory and you manage territories, physical territories. And of course, this itself by itself is a big subject where, we can take 2 or 3 sessions as to how do we map territory, how do we dimension a territory, how do we dimension the manpower, what databases are used, what information is available, and what is not available to design a territory from scratch. Typical model in FMCG is you have distributors and CNF agents, wholesale agents, clearing and forwarding agents, where basically a physical product is involved. And then you have a set of wholesalers, and then you have a set of retailers. Distributors can supply directly to retailers also. Big cities, typically they will supply directly to retailers. So very quickly, in telecom, of course, there was no role for wholesalers. So the distributors were told to approach and appoint retailers directly. And who were these retailers? The easiest available universe was the general stores, kirana stores, grocery stores, which used to sell all FMCG products. So typically, stores selling soaps, toothpaste, biscuits, confectionery. That was the initial universe which telecom companies targeted. And that is where the FMCG experience of the salespeople came in, because they knew that particular type of distribution. So immediately, sales teams found out distributors, and typically the distributors were also FMCG distributors who would either be a distributor for Hindustan Lever or a Parle G or ITC. ITC is considered to be one of the best disciplined distribution companies in my experience. Coke, Pepsi, these are all distributor-led models. However, for telecom, very soon we realized as the network started expanding that the FMCG model may not be adequate for telecom, and that telecom had to create its own model to reach far deeper in geography, because cell towers can be somewhere in highways, and wherever a signal is available, that is a market for telecom. And it could be deep inside jungles also. So FMCG model had a limitation in terms of distribution into very, very remote and rural areas. So telecom started going far beyond FMCG. And today, I must say that if you compare the universe of outlets which telecom companies cover, it would be significantly higher than what FMCG companies are covering, because they went beyond. Telecom companies had no such compulsion to restrict themselves only to grocery stores and kirana stores. So we started going into medical stores, consumer durable stores, any store, any physical outlet, pawn shops, bakery shops. We had to just convince the shop owner to come on board and start selling telecom. And the best part of it was that there was no physical storage which was required, very less. Unlike any other product in FMCG, storage and transportation of products is a very, very big part of the entire exercise. Telecom companies, like for example, all of us started with virtual outlets. We had roving salesmen, which could be postmen, milkmen, students. Many colleges we appointed our students as our retailers. We gave them a authorized activation SIM, as we used to call it, which is still there. And we onboarded these students, and each student used to get, let's say, 50 rupees or 100 rupees per connection that they used to sell within the college. Then you had people who can set up an umbrella at a short notice in any street, part-timers, almost anyone willing to sell was onboarded as a retailer, virtual retailer, for even though they don't have a shop. We didn't require actually a shop to sell. So that's how we expanded the distribution of the universe of outlets far beyond the physical brick and mortar outlets in FMCG. So very quickly we realized, because all the telecom companies had hired people from FMCG. You see anybody, either will be from any telecom company or Pepsi or Coke or ITC or Hindustan Lever or Britannia. So everybody had, the same kind of knowledge. So distribution, apart from, of course, the network quality, became the key competitive edge in telecom. And not only in telecom, I must say it is there across all industries, especially any consumer industry. Distribution is considered to be a competitive edge. And many people, many fresh MBAs at this point do not realize the importance of sales and distribution. And that's why if you look at any CEO or top management personnel of any consumer industry, invariably 98 to 99% of them would have had initial grounding in sales and distribution, whether it's Hindustan Lever, whether it's ITC, you name it. So that is how important sales and distribution is in career shaping. That is my message to the students here. So don't look upon S&D as a as a poor cousin of marketing. In fact, I would say it is the father of the marketing department in many industrial sectors. Now, what were the challenges that we faced in telecom and S&D? First and foremost, it was a tech product. It required a lot of education to the retailers who would typically, who would hand out a product to a customer who would ask for a particular brand, or if that brand is not available, that retailer will sell some other brand. Retailer plays a very, very important role in promoting or bringing down a product. If the retailer is not happy, if the retailer fraternity is not happy with your organization in FMCG or in telecom, they can bring down a product by just bad mouthing it. They're saying, don't buy that, sir. We're getting a lot of complaints on that product. Why don't you try this one? Okay. So it's a double-edged sword. And they were initially resistant to come on board because education was required. They were not, saying, oh, mobile phone, how can we handle it? It is not such a complex thing. So we had to first, convince a retailer to buy a ordinary mobile phone. Many of them didn't have a mobile phone at that point because the essential requirement of its S&D is to have a mobile phone, S&D retailer, because only through that he or she would be able to actually sell a SIM card or sell a recharge. So initially was a lot of, we did a lot of group education. We used to call a lot of retailers to a local nearby shop, chai, samosa, meetings and quickly educate them about it. So that itself was a huge education for the FMCG team. So till now, nobody had to go and educate a retailer about how to sell a biscuit or a toothpaste, right? It would be only about what is the scheme on the biscuit or what is the scheme on the toothpaste. Now here, the same FMCG person, whether he is for selling soap earlier or Pepsi or Coke or any other consumer product, had to first learn about a bit about technology and then had to educate all these leaders. So that itself was a huge step up in skill set for the FMCG sales team. Even I was quite, apprehensive at first as to how will I be able to handle this product. Then, of course, there's a huge area of regulatory interventions requirements as far as telecom is concerned, which is not there is in any FMCG product. At the most, at the corporate level, you have a FSSAI or the equivalent of the drugs administrator or the medical this thing. But at the retail level, there's hardly anything. But in telecom, SIM cards is considered to be a double-edged sword, especially Yeah, sorry. I'm extremely sorry. There was a huge power outage in this area and just got back online. I'll just share my screen once again.
No
Ma'am,
problem.
yeah, give me the host again, please. It is disabled.
Okay.
It's very strange. Even in your area, it seems in the entire Hopes College area.
Entire Hopes. So, yes, sir. Exactly, sir.
GV Residency, up to Parks, I think power went off.
Oh. Yeah. Is it okay now, sir?
Yeah, let me just. Visible?
Visible, sir. Visible. Yeah.
So just one more time. Yeah, so we were here. It is basically a tech product. So a lot of education was required, and regulatory is something which was extremely important, and it is still very important, and which is why SND will have in telecom will continue to have a lot of physical. It will not become a truly e-commerce product because each customer, each new connection has to be physically verified either through an Aadhaar biometric or through documents, and that is because of national and international security reasons. As you know, SIM cards earned a very bad name in all the bomb blasts and everywhere around the world and even in India. And being a business head, I know how many cases or requests for tracing, come to telecom companies for any kind of crime. Almost 50 to 60% of crime these days are actually detected through. Am I audible? Am I audible, ma'am?
It's clear. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So,
it's clear.
Given that reason, there's a lot of strict guidelines in terms of how a SIM card connection can be activated. So a lot of it, the work of the entire distribution channel revolves around that. Actually, there is no physical product. Right now everything is virtual technology. So advantages is there are no physical storehouses, no logistics. So a distributor can actually stock recharges worth 50 lakh rupees or 1 crore rupees in just her pocket or his mobile phone. Whereas for FMCG, he would have had to have at least 2,000 square feet of godown space and 3-4 vehicles and things like that. And initially, when we started off, there used to be physical recharge coupons. Now there is nowhere a physical recharge coupon can be found. Everything is moved virtual, electronic. So it is on the fly. So it's basically anywhere, anytime product delivery now. Now, what is the role of a salesperson in telecom versus FMCG durables? Now, this is where the understanding how it diverges telecom versus FMCG. So FMCG basically is all about stock placement and display and repeat orders from the shops. There's an X number of shops which are allocated to a salesman, which is called a beat. And typically, he has to go around on a specific day at a specific time to cover those outlets, see whether the products are displayed properly. That is where the fight is on the counter. How much of display space can I get for my company? And that is where the muscle power of the companies comes into the picture, or the scheme comes into the picture. And repeat orders. Retailer, can I open any more physical outlets? What is the count to share? Is Dove getting a higher count to share than ITC's Fiamma or not? Am I billing this outlet from Hindustan Lever for personal care products more than what ITC is billing, or some Godrej is billing, or let's say Kevin Care is billing? Then collection of dues. Typically these will be all on credit. So from every retailer, he has to go and collect some money. And a new product placement. If there's a new launch, how do I get product placement? POP, point of purchase, posters, danglers, advertising material on the shop shelves. How do I do that? For a telecom salesperson, this is all of these plus the SIM activation process. Ensure that the product is usable. Unless that SIM card is used for a minimum number of minutes, that is not considered a sale, because there used to be a lot of fake SIM card sales. People will just activate through the idea and say, I have sold so many SIM cards and a scheme will be taken. So companies also got smarter to say, no, sorry, we need to see at least 5 minutes of usage, outgoing calls from that SIM card to say that it is a perfect, complete sale. So it's like for an FMCG or a Pepsi person, it is not enough that the bottle has gone off the shelf. He has to ensure that the customer has gone home and opened the bottle cap and consumed some Pepsi or Coke. That is when his sale is complete, not by just handing over a SIM card. Customer documentation process is the documentation now mostly through Aadhaar and biometric. Is it tallying? Earlier, it used to be a lot of taking photocopies of everybody who has bought a SIM card will know. You have to submit an Aadhaar copy or a ID proof, an address proof. And that is actually checked and audited by DOT. Most of you will not know. Department of Telecom checks and audits it, and many times a lot of fraud. In my name, there could be some other connection in some other state or even in this state. You will not be even aware of it. So DOT will pull out all such duplications across operators and inform us saying, this is looking suspicious. Why is this customer? Officially, as per telecom, no citizen of India can have more than 9 mobile connections in his or her name. But we used to have people having 100, 200 connections because their ID proofs would be forged or tampered with, and connections would be sold in the black market, and which is where the crimes would happen. And that person, unfortunately, would get into trouble if that SIM card was found in some crime or a bomb blast or something like that. It was very, very painful process. Then the salesperson has to coordinate with the backend teams to resolve issues. There could be a local network issue in a particular village, and the SIM card will not be get activated on time, or there's a balance issue. The balance deduction issue. There's something called VAS, value added services. These ringtones or some games we download by mistake. Suddenly your balance will go off, and then the customers will start shouting at the retailer, and the retailer will start shouting at the salesman. It's like somebody going home with a rinse soap and saying rinse soap is not washing my clothes well. Call the Hindustan Lever salesperson. It doesn't happen in FMCG. Biscuit is not tasting well. Call the FMCG sale. Here, simply the complaint will come back to the particular company salesperson. He's supposed to resolve that issue by coordinating with the backend teams. So the sales person is not just a salesperson, especially in rural areas. The salesperson is also a customer service person in the telecom industry. He's a punching bag for irate customers. I have seen customers shouting, yelling, calling in the middle of the night, saying my SIM card is not working. What is happening? What has been the impact of technology over the years? So I would say from between 2000 and 2012, we had paper coupons, but virtual recharge had also started. So paper coupons were slowly getting reduced in proportion. Then virtual recharge and online recharge became the mainstream post 3G and 4G launch. Now, almost everybody, all of you sitting here would have started paying your bills either online or recharging online. However, there's still a lot of rural customers who approached retailers for recharges. They themselves were unable to recharge through internet, even though they know how to use WhatsApp and all that now. They're still uncomfortable using it for financial transactions. And this is where one of the biggest learnings came to us during COVID. During COVID, we found, because the shops were closed, online recharging zoomed to almost 75 to 80% of the total recharges. And we saw, telecom, especially marketing people, really got very happy saying, oh, we have so many internet literate consumers. Now, this was not a sudden, this was far from true, because the customer who was not able to recharge would go to another person. Then you had a friends and family recharge scheme online, and somebody else would recharge on his behalf, but his number would show as an online recharge. So it gave us a false data, actually. Actually, there were not 80% of people who were actually recharging online. There were only still about 50 to 60, but somebody else was doing on their behalf. For example, one person in the family will do it for all the 5 connections. But all the 5 numbers would show as online recharge. So we would assume through data. This is where data analytics can throw you completely off track. And all your marketing efforts were assuming that everybody, this number who maybe an 80-year-old lady or 80-year-old grandfather would start getting messages about internet usages and online gaming and things like that, but would be a complete waste. So this is where, data analytics has to have a reality check all the time, because a lot of false data comes through. And suddenly after COVID, what happened? Again, online recharges dropped to 50-60% because shops had opened up again. So the retailer again started doing on behalf of the customer, or little bit of small denomination coupons were still available. So this is where a key learning came to us in COVID. Now recharging process on autopilot. Now the focus is, since the market is saturated for new SIM cards, it is on mobile number portability. How do I get the competitor's SIM card connection into my network? That is where all the focus of the sales team is for all the companies. Because selling a new SIM card, everybody now has multiple SIM cards, right? Everybody has 2 or 3 SIM cards, one for data, one for this purpose, one for business account, things like that. So selling new SIM card is not the key thing. Now, how do I get a good using customer from, let's say, Airtel to port into Jio, or from Jio to Vodafone Idea, or from Vodafone Idea to Airtel? And lot of these customers keep rotating every 3 months. So that has also become a big I would say, a kind of a scam, because retailers keep on rotating customers between different operators, because that is where their earnings would come in from. Here, I would just like to touch upon Idea Cellular's son of the soil concept for rural markets. Now, as we realized, as we all move deeper and deeper into rural areas, rural sales and distribution had to go far beyond FMCG, because our towers could be on a highway or a small village where there would be 1 or 2 shops maximum for FMCG, and that would be supplied by a wholesaler once in a week. But for telecom, if you have to activate a SIM card, somebody has to visit that village every day, or maximum once in 2 days. And what we found is that many of these territory managers, as we used to call them, were very reluctant to go deep into the rural areas. And because, everybody wants to live in the nearest town. And we used to have, therefore, a lot of attrition of frontline salespeople. So we started with son of the soil concept, where we started looking, and this is the sales hierarchy. Typically, a TSC, territory sales executive, was the son of the soil. TSM, territory sales manager, who would typically be in a district headquarter town. The next level would be area sales manager, who would handle one full district or maybe a couple of districts. A zonal manager who would handle a big zone of, let's say, 5 to 6 districts. Then the circle would be typically one state, sales head, reporting into the business head, or different designations, business head, circle 2, or circle CEO. Now, telecom is a huge business. It is almost a 3 to 4 lakh crore revenue business in India. And each circle for each company is a multi-crore, multi-hundred crore business. For example, when I was in Vodafone Idea, the Maharashtra and Goa circle, apart from Mumbai, was worth 4,000 crore revenue per year. That is the size of this business. That is the scale. And of course, Vodafone Idea was the market leader in Maharashtra and Goa. So therefore, it was much larger. But similarly, Airtel would be around 3,000 crores in Maharashtra and Goa. Jio would be 3,000 crores at that point of time. So it's a huge industry. Now, territory sales executive, what did we do? It was a location-specific recruitment. Let's say we wanted the person to be based in Mussoorie. Why? He would continue to stay in Mussoorie because his parents were living there. He's continuing to stay in his own house. And therefore, he would stay in this company for a much longer period of time. He would obviously have much better local territory knowledge connections. He would typically have a lower salary than TSMs. TSMs would be obviously a graduate, and many of them, 70-80% would be MBAs, territory sales managers. And the TSC basically is very happy staying in that place. Because he's staying with his parents, he has no rent to pay. A lower salary is very much within his, ambition range. only graduates. We never hired overqualified people for the TSC's position, because obviously, you know, after a period of time, that person would get disenchanted. Not expected to be fluent in English, just know basic. He should be able to read mails and instructions, and should be able to, you know, carry out all the technical transactions. The territory is not larger than 30 to 40 kilometers radius, you know, so that day visits, goes in the morning, visits 2 or 3 small villages and some small towns in that territory, and comes back to his hometown by the evening. So typically 200 to 250 shops or resellers, 2 to 3 distributors, and we had this concept of how many towers is he covering. You know, typically 10 to 15 towers is what we would allocate in this particular area to a TSC, whereas a TSM would have almost 350 to 400 to 500 shops, because city, the shops are much closer. He would handle 4 to 5 distributors, maybe 40 to 50 towers. Then we started, after a few years, we started a career growth pathway for ambitious TSCs, because a lot of TSCs said, we would like to grow. Tell us what do we need to do. So we found a system of evaluation. And especially the first condition was that you should be mobile. You should be willing to move out of your hometown to any other place in that particular state. Otherwise, you are automatically disqualified. You are happy staying there. Please stay in that particular Musri town for the, you know, foreseeable future. We have no problem. But if you want to grow, you have to come out of Musri and probably, let's say, go to, you know, Tindivanam to become a TSM, because a TSM has to move around every 2 years to a different location within the same circle, or even, you know, a good opportunity arises for growth as an ASM, he or she should be willing to go out of the state itself. This concept started in 2008 and 9 and is still continuing. So you can see how successful this concept is. You know, it gave a competitive edge to Idea Cellular in rural markets. Idea Cellular was recognized as the king of rural markets in telecom till a few years back. Of course, the same concept has now been copied by competition. Every company has it. They're just calling it by different names. Somebody calls it PSR, you know, and things like that. But the concept is now a well-entrenched concept. So S&T person in telecom is actually like a soldier. It's always on duty. And therefore, I have no hesitation in saying that sales and distribution in telecom is actually equal to FMCG on steroids. You know, it's a sales, not only a salesperson, he is a customer service person as well, because he has to resolve a lot of on-ground issues which are semi-technical in nature. So this is where I would like to end a very, very brief overview. Of course, each of these subtopics is a topic by itself. And you know, and if we have time and opportunity, I would be more than happy to delve into each of these in far more detail. And thank you so much. And I now come back for any questions. Any questions? Am I audible?
Participants, any questions, please?
Fine, I guess there are none.
None, sir.
So once again, thank you so much for this opportunity, and sorry for that hiccup in between. I think it was a widespread electricity outage in many parts.
Exactly. Yeah, sir. Sriram Nandi, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah. So,
yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Indeed, it was a wonderful session, and whatever technology evolves, no distribution management is never going to die, whether it is going to be online or offline. I think distribution management is something, what to say, blood for any business. It was really indeed a wonderful session, sir. I think definitely the students over here must have learned a lot through this session. So on behalf of Coimbatore Management Association, I thank Puneet sir for sparing your valuable time and gracing this 500th episode of Coimbatore Management Association. Thank you so much, sir. I also thank all the student chapter members who have attended today's meeting. I also thank the CMA office bearers, and also I thank the president and secretary and all the MC committee of CMA for continuously organizing such wonderful, insightful programs on every week. So thank you all, and once again meet you in the next week, Monday.
There is somebody who's asked a question.
Yeah.
I can just take that quickly. Sivakumar, thank you for the insights. Any career tips for a student choosing his or her career path in sales? I think you have to, let me say that, you want to go into marketing, sales has to be the route most often than not. And you should be willing to be mobile, first and foremost. Trying to say that I would be stuck to a particular location and not move, because sales and distribution is all about moving physically. That would be my tip to anybody who wants to, take up a career in sales. Don't be, stuck on a particular location. All right, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.